Hi, my name is Krista Horrocks, and I wrote the review for This Place of Silence. Cemeteries give us a tangible link to history and the people who lived here in Ohio. And This Place of Silence really highlights the beauty of Ohio's cemeteries, as well as just how important of a cultural resource they really are.
Many people tend to just drive by cemeteries without realizing the beauty and what's behind those gates and fences, the stories that they tell. When you start to go in and look more carefully, you start to see some of the symbolism and you start to understand some of the stories. And they tell the story of the community and the city. And it's been a fascinating journey.
My name's Robin Smith, and I wrote the text and the photo captions for This Place of Silence. For me, the important thing about writing This Place of Silence was to tell the stories. There are stories of the people who lived in communities, there are stories about family members, there are stories about the communities, and then there's the history of cemeteries themselves, which ends up being a history of the change in the way death is dealt with in the United States, going from a really personal thing that families and friends took care of to a big business and something that is done by professionals.
I've probably been to this cemetery 20 or 30 times in the last couple years, and right now I'm just noticing something that I hadn't noticed before. So interestingly, this is a zinc monument, as opposed to what you see all around here is mostly the granite stone. As you can hear, it's definitely metal. One of the reasons they started using these, they were less expensive, and the durability, they weather pretty well. And you can see it's in pretty good shape there. One of the really interesting things about cemeteries is they were the precursor or forerunners of public parks. I don't think a lot of people know that.
In about the middle of the 19th century, the growing cities in Ohio realized that they had a problem with disposal of the dead. Most of them had older city graveyards that were starting to deteriorate. So these big rural cemeteries that were established in the mid-19th century were really one of the first instances of actual city planning, where the city had a problem and got together and solved it.
The rural cemetery movement evolved cemeteries into these large, beautiful park settings that were utilized for family gatherings and for picnic space. And these cemeteries are still here today.
And now all those big rural cemeteries are in the middle of cities because the cities just kept growing. So they're kind of back where they started from.
We spent a good 3 years working on the book. Ian and I both have traveled probably 35,000 miles over that 2.5, 3 year period to cover actually all 88 counties. I think we were both pretty amazed at what we've discovered. Ian's got some fabulous images of some unique markers. One of them is actually a spaceship. Yeah. Another one is a granite sofa. It actually has a television remote on the one arm, and it has a black granite pillow on the sofa itself.
Cemeteries and gravestones are important to me because sometimes they're really the only evidence that's left of a person who was here and lived and had a life here in Ohio. Some people die in between census records, children, for example, and they simply are not documented any other ways. And the gravestone itself really proves that this person was here, and they lived and they were loved and they died, and somebody made the effort to document them. And that's why cemetery preservation is so important, and the documentation of cemeteries is so important, because it really does, sometimes it's the only way we know that somebody was ever here.